Okay, folks, in our quest to give you more visual views, as you can see my pointer right here, you're going to see that this says open, high, low, close, and then the volume and the date. So I would just pay attention to the open, high, low, and close. As I put my cursor over here, you're going to see numbers pop up. Now, what I like to do is in the 60-minute chart, I like to go to the opening of the London session, and that's right here. So if you take a look at what's happening to the left of this chart at the open of the London session, you can see that we had what we predicted or what we discussed in class was that it kind of just went flat. It was in a small range. And then if you look to the right of that cursor, you can see what took place after the London session opened and how the progression started up. And as we move our cursor to the next hour, you can see that it went to a low there of 29.96. That's at 3 o'clock Central in the morning, 4 o'clock Eastern. You go to the next one, it went as low as 29.86. And this is at 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern. And this is the bottom of the session. As you can see down there in your lower right-hand corner, it says 29.86. And from that point forward, if you look to the left, you can see how it went sideways for a period of time. And then all of a sudden at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock Eastern, that's when this pair went below 29.86. It came back and shot above 29.95 and 130, which we discussed, and give you explicit instructions of what to do with this pair and why in Tuesday night's webinar. So if you happen to be available and this pair went below 130, went all the way to 29.86, and then came back and retested 130, look at where you're at now, because the pair took off from the 130 area and shot all the way up to 135 in the session. That's 500 pips, and we're currently just below 135, so you're up about 400 plus pips, and you can see how the move took place just before it started in at about 12 o'clock Central, and then right here at 1 o'clock, this is when the announcement, and the spike just went flying when the FOMC was made. It just went flying. Now, if you take a look, and let's try to put this in perspective, this is a 4-hour chart. And the 4-hour chart shows how we took off right here. But as you can see in the previous, and all these blue lines right here constitute a 24-hour period, but you can see how the euro had been going and the ebb and flow up, down, right here, up, down, but we were continuing to get higher lows. You can see right here, and you can look down there to the right-hand side. You can see the low. You can see the low right there, and you can see the low right here. So we were getting higher lows, and we had these sessions where we were continually moving forward. We talked about all this in previous webinars as we've been watching the euro. And then all of a sudden we had kind of a session right here where we just, that small session we talked about, and then all of a sudden this pair just took off in the channel. And if you kind of put this in perspective, this is a half-day chart. This is a chart that shows half days, 12 hours, and you can see how the progression went from left to right, and then all of a sudden this pair just took off. And then if you wanted to see it, what it currently looks like on a short-term day chart, here's what's been taking place. Remember how we had that like oscillation for many, many days, and then all of a sudden it just took off. And then in the midterm, which is a weekly chart, we've had kind of this oscillation going sideways, and all of a sudden it's just took off. So what you've seen is the euro battling to come from the 27.54, 24.60 range. We talked about it getting to 130. It finally closed above 130 at 30.17. We talked about what needed to be done. We talked about our insights of what we thought was going to happen, and this is what took place. And now all of a sudden, because nobody could predict this, we couldn't predict that the pair was going to move 100 pips, 300 pips, let alone 500 pips. But the fact that you are prepared in advance allows you the opportunity, if you follow the system, to be in a position to generate positive pips, taking the take profit 1, take profit 2, and then moving along to the gravy train method.